if you've been wanting that positive change inside of yourself or in your life, a sense of freedom, whatever the goal or the result is that you want, and you are doing all the things that you think you should do to achieve that outcome, and yet you're still not getting traction and you're still not getting what you want, it's so frustrating, right? It's so frustrating. And you might find yourself saying things like, I just can't seem to make progress. No matter what I do, nothing changes. No matter what I do, I keep finding myself back where I started or repeating the same loop, the same patterns, the same habits. Or I change what I'm doing, but I keep getting the same result. It's if nothing works for me. And you might also notice that you're sensing something is off. Like there's something stopping me, there's something blocking me, but I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is. If I did know what it was, I would have done something about it, right? And it's really important to know that you can do loads of personal growth and have a lot of genuine, tangible, real growth and still have this happening where you're blocked and not moving forward in the specific outcomes you want. And it's not because you're not capable, and it's not because you're not smart. It's because of something called your blind spots. And blind spots, by their very nature, are blind to you. You cannot see them. They are invisible to your current conscious awareness. If you could see them, you'd do something about them. But because they're that invisible kind of shadowy thing that's slightly outside of your awareness, what they do is they run us and they impact how we're being and what we're doing, and they impact the results we're getting. So it's really important if you're in this position to be able to broaden and widen your awareness, to be able to look into the places that you have not seen inside yourself and your way of being or doing, to see something you haven't seen before, to uncover the blind spot, to then be able to resolve it. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what blind spots are, how they keep us stuck, and I'm going to give you practical tips and prompt questions. So make sure you've got a pen and paper handy to help you uncover some of your own blind spots. Once you see them, you can do something about them, right? So my zone of genius is both helping you to uncover them and to resolve them, dissolve them permanently so you can flow forward. That's what we're going to do. Let's dive in.
You're listening to Practical Spirituality with B, the podcast with spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic. I'm Bernadette Logue. You can call me B, and I'm excited to share this episode with you.
Okay, so welcome to this episode. I am really excited to talk to you about this topic because subconscious blocks, blind spots are something that have affected all of us at one point or another. I've had them multiple times where seeing them has like been a light bulb going off, a huge aha moment and a breakthrough for being able to actually apply a resolution to things that were keeping me stuck. Typically, when I'm doing one-on-one coaching with people and in my Soul Odyssey group mentorship, this is the big thing. This is, I cannot see what I cannot see. I do not know what I do not know, and I'm stuck and can't seem to move forward. And the challenge with blind spots is that you don't know what you don't know. So how are you meant to know? And you can't see what you can't see. So how are you meant to see it? And as soon as we can come at it from a different angle, and usually that's going to involve external prompt, because something has to come to interrupt the narrowed awareness that you have in order for you to see things differently. Otherwise, you would have seen it differently by now. So that's because you're too close to your own self to see yourself objectively. You're too close to your belief patterning, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions to see what objectively is there to be seen. And also, when you prompt with different questions, you ask wise questions, you get great answers. And when you get external objective support, like a coach like myself, or a therapist, or a trusted friend or family member, and you work with them and they're equipped to help you in this way, then what it does is it gives you an external objective perspective, a witness to you that can see what's happening, a sounding board, and what happens is it actually unravels really quickly. Like usually within 1 hour, I can find the lifelong root blocks for people. And then we apply really methodical psycho-spiritual techniques to dissolve them, to move them. Okay, so we need to see them, but we also need to dissolve them. So you will know this is a problem for you if you've been working on something, you're doing the things you know you should be doing, and you know you really want the thing that you want, but you're in this loop of nothing seems to be moving forward. Nothing seems to be progressing, growing, getting better. I don't feel I'm any closer to getting the kind of outcomes that I want. I'm still feeling the same way. And whether it's your health or your money, your career, your lifestyle, your relationships, your behavior, whatever it is that you are working on to achieve, you know something is yet to be addressed. It's like a piece of the jigsaw puzzle hasn't clicked into place. You'll know this if everything feels like hard work. Because yes, life is challenging and we do have to show up and put in some effort, but it's not meant to be a struggling slog. And so when it feels like that, something needs to come into alignment. There's a misalignment. There's a truth we're not seeing. There's an untruth or an illusion that we're living by, and we're caught in what I call the fog. The foggy paradigm, which is a mental emotional loop that has us pouring all our efforts into doing things in the world, but we're coming from a psyche and an energetic state which is out of alignment. And what we get is, from misalignment, we get a misaligned life. From an unaligned state inside, we get an unaligned result. Okay? So I want you to, first of all, think about what is the goal that you want. And I want to be really clear at the beginning that this is indeed a good goal for you, and it is indeed the right goal for you. Because sometimes not getting what we want is because we're doing goals that aren't us. They're not what we want. They're not for a good reason. And it may not be a blind spot that's the problem. The goal might be the problem. So here are a couple of really quick prompts. If there is a particular way you want to be thinking or feeling, there's a particular outcome you want to tangibly get in your practical life experience, 3D, to achieve or get, or something you want to experience, we're assuming that that goal is aligned for you, which means it's authentic to your heart, it's healthy, it's highest good for you and other people. It's not a goal that is harmful. It won't harm you and it won't harm others. It's not a goal that's coming from your ego for need for significance, for need for approval or validation, to fill some void inside, or to appease a fear that you have. Okay? Because typically life isn't really up for supporting that which doesn't support life. And those things are not lifeward. They are the shadowy fog of misalignment. And so we want goals that are coming from our yearning, from our heart, things that are in natural expansion and expression that would be uplifting for you. And most people's goals are going to be genuine goals. There's going to be very few that would be unhealthy, harmful, egoic goals. So the next step is we want to talk very briefly about what the blind spot is. It's simply something in your way of being or your way of doing that is not working for you, and you can't see it. That's all it is. It's not anything special. It's just a way of being, believing, thinking, feeling, or a way of doing, taking action that is not working for you, and you don't realize it. That's all it is. Okay. Okay, now we're going to talk about how blind spots work. What is actually going on? Because when you see things clearly, they're no longer a mystery. You don't feel powerless and you don't feel helpless. Now, remember, the beginning I said you can grow immensely in who you are, and you can fix, change many things about yourself internally and in your life, and you can still have a blind spot, and it can still play out, rippling outward into every area of your life. And people get frustrated with this because it's like, I've done so much, I've achieved so much, I've grown so much, I've put in all the effort. Why is this still happening? It's still happening because this is a blind spot. And you're human. And for some reason, this blind spot is important because it's standing in the way of you and something else you want. And so if you want the goal enough, you'll just take a deep breath and say, I can do this. I can see what it is I need to see and I can resolve it. And it does not have to take a long time. It can happen in a matter of hours, days, or weeks. It's not some long-winded thing that has to go on. Next, you are not wrong, bad, or broken if you have a blind spot and you can't see it. Okay? We need to be equipped and skilled to be able to see blind spots. It's very easy for me to see them because I've been doing this for 12 years. So I can easily work with people and notice them, and you're going to find out how I do that a little bit in a minute because I'm going to share some ways to prompt you. But it's not easy when it's yourself. So, for example, I found it difficult to see my own blind spots, which is why I have spiritual mentors, I have business coach, I have trusted, very close soul sister friends and family members who can reflect and mirror back to me to help me. Okay? But you have to be willing. You have to be willing to see it. Now, the next thing is when we're trying to get change and you're working on a goal, often people don't even know there's a blind spot, don't go looking for it, don't understand this whole dynamic, is because they're dealing with the symptoms of their problems, not the root cause. So if you've been in my community for any length of time, you'll know I talk about this all the time, harping on about don't waste your energy dealing with trying to fix symptoms in your life. Look for the real root cause. And blind spots are real root cause issues because they are unconscious, often subconscious, below the surface of our conscious thinking mind, below the surface of what we know, we believe, think, feel, and do. And just because they're unconscious or subconscious doesn't mean we can't find them. We just have to bring new light, take a new perspective, ask new questions to uncover them. Okay? But because they don't get the light of day, they get to play in the shadows, invisible to us, and they run us. It's like code inside a computer. When you code a computer to run a certain program, it is only going to run that program and it's not going to run anything else until you change the code. So blind spots in our unconscious or subconscious patterning, typically around survival mechanisms and our belief programming. They are like code in a computer and they're going to sit there invisibly in the darkness within us and they are going to run us. Not because we're not capable and not because our blind spots are bad and evil and wrong, just because this is how it goes. This is what it is to be in a human body, be a soul, here in life, having a journey inside a body with humanity and psychology and a brain and a nervous system. So we all signed up for it. Don't be upset about it. We just embrace it. And then we get practical. We pull our socks up, take a deep breath, find the thing and resolve it, right? Here's why people end up dealing with symptoms or ways people deal with symptoms and not the root cause. E.g., you think you have a relationship problem. But what if it's not a relationship problem and it's a you problem around your trust? And that's around safety and vulnerability. What if you don't have a money problem that's symptomatic and it's not the real root? What if the real root is you have misperceptions around power and responsibility or self-worth programming that doesn't match up with money and abundance? What if you think you've got a business problem and you're trying to fix it at the level of your business or your career or your job or your boss, but it's actually got nothing to do with that? And it's actually an underlying blind spot of fear around vulnerability, being seen, being heard, being rejected, being accepted. List off, rattle off all the number of things that it could be. So meanwhile, we fiddle with all the symptoms in our lives. We spend years working on the surface level of who we are in our positive thinking and our, doing all the right things and the right habits, and we do the things and we change the things in our lifestyle and we change the things in our patterning behavior and we change our job, career, relationships, and we do all the things that we should be doing. Tangible, practical, logical. Yet underneath, there is something inside of us that is not a match. and it is driving our vibrational frequency. It's driving our beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and actions, or inaction, our point of attraction, and the results we're getting in our life, which is why the outer efforts we put in will yield some change, but may not give you exactly what you want because something hasn't clicked. And the clicking is seeing and resolving the blind spots that are getting in the way. So these root level issues, which blind spots typically are usually very deep and emotive. They're not little things. They're not little misperceptions that don't really have any kind of bearing on our emotional state, our past, or our present. They are usually what I would call primal, existential, and foundational to what we believe about ourselves and what we believe about life, and how our brain and body, our mind and our nervous system are functioning to try to keep us safe and aligned to what we believe to be true. So often these things are going to be about your safety, your belonging, your worth, your value, your enoughness. And these are big things, because if you're in the world and you're out there doing things and you want to achieve things, and any part of you is not about it, is like, not safe, not safe, I'm not worth it, it's not trustworthy, I don't know about that. Any part of you is not about it, then that part is going to fight for your survival and safety, and it's going to blind spot you to keep you where you are. Not because you don't deserve what you want, because we're wired to stay away from that which is uncertain, that which does not work for us, that which feels unsafe, that which is unfamiliar, that which does not line up with the beliefs that we have about ourselves and about life. And the other thing is, these blind spots, something inside of you is basically programmed in the opposite direction of what you want. These are not who you really are. You were not born with these fears and beliefs that act as blind spots that you cannot see, that get in your way and cause problems for you. These are conditioned. The fog that I talk about, our foggy paradigm, the lens we look through as we look out into the world, is our belief programming, our fears, the expectations other people have put on us and that we put on ourselves, and the social norms that we are trying to live inside of and live up to. These are not who we are. You are soul, you are spirit, you are divine, you are whole, you are complete, you are worthy, you are good enough, and you are safe. But if an aspect of you does not believe that, then that aspect will win. And we pick up these root level blind spots really early on in the way that we're raised and the things that we go through in life, because we've got a really smart, clever, capable human self. And what it does is it looks to find ways to stay safe, and it looks for coping strategies when we're young for what we go through. So we make up our mind and we develop systems inside of our subconscious, our conscious, our nervous system that are designed to keep us where we think we will have no danger. And what it does is, as adults, is it keeps us inside a tiny box, comfort zone, where we cannot get what we want, because getting what we want might trigger the things inside of us that don't feel good. Okay, so we're going to start to break this down a little bit more. So how do I see a blind spot? I'm going to give you spiritual solutions, intuitive, subconscious, practical. Let's go through them. The first thing from a purely spiritual perspective is two things. Number one, ask spirit to show you the truth. Okay, so spirit, you could say God, creator, divinity, universe. You could say archangels, ascended masters, whoever on the unseen dimension you have a relationship with and that you work with. Ask spirit to guide you to see the truth. Alternatively, you can ask your intuition, the divine intelligence within you that is connected to universal wisdom. There's one mind of love and consciousness, one mind of God, one mind of love, whatever you want to call it. Everything is connected. You're a part of it. So your intuitive, soulful self has access to all that wisdom. and already knows the answer exactly to what is blocking you. Okay. And so you can ask spirit or ask your intuition to show you, and then pay attention to dreams, visions, messages, ideas that pop into your mind out of nowhere, synchronicities, signs, animal totems, all the ways that spiritual divine guidance comes to us to help us see things differently. Okay. The next thing is you can do is before you go to sleep at night, ask your subconscious mind to tell you what is the blind spot that's blocking me that you have been using to keep me safe. Then pay attention to what you dream about. Pay attention to what you wake in the middle of the night realizing, or what comes to you when you wake in the morning. Okay. Now, it may not be clear and obvious. It may be just symbolic or a pointer towards. So you've got to follow the thread. You've got to pull the thread, and then you have to make sense of what you're being given. Okay. Need help with that? Reach out to me. You can email support@bernadettelogue.com. Okay. This is all the stuff that I do in coaching with people one-on-one. It's the stuff that I do with all the people in my Soul Odyssey group mentorship. Okay. Now, practical tips to help you. First of all, notice the area that's not working in your life that you want to get results in. Then I'm going to give you lots of prompt questions. You can pause in your own time, okay? Ask yourself things like this. If this situation outwardly was just a mirror of me, what is the mirror trying to show me? So if you're experiencing conflict in some area of your life, or something is stuck in some area of your life, or something is unstable, ask yourself, where am I in conflict inside myself? Where am I stuck inside myself? Where am I unstable inside myself? Life has this funny way of being a literal direct mirror. So whatever adjectives you use to describe the situation that isn't working, look to see how that might be a description of you, and how if you shifted you, then life outside of you would shift, because you're an inside-out creator. Belief, thought, feeling, action equals result. Okay. And by the way, I'm going to give you a link to a free masterclass at the end of this, so you can go in and learn more with me and dive a little bit deeper, but also you can come work with me in the group or one-on-one if you want help with all of this, because we can keep it really simple. I can find it for you and help you resolve it. Okay, in this area of your life where it is not working, prompt questions. Who am I being in that situation? How am I showing up? What's my energy like? What's my attitude like? How do I believe about that? What do I think about that? What do I say to myself about that area? What do I say to other people? And how do I feel? How do I feel in that area? Because your feeling state is your message to life. It's your energetic stamp. Okay. What is my behavior like in that area? What is my behavior like? Do I feel at ease, aligned, and flowing? And if not, why not? And if I'm really honest and can say what's really weighing on me, then what I would say is this, and then insert. This is really important. People walk around trying to be positive, and they're trying to, say I'm doing this, I'm doing that, everything's going to be okay. But actually underneath, something wants to be said. You can't suppress your emotions, and you can't suppress that voice of fear or pain inside, because if it doesn't get processed, it goes nowhere and it stays stuck. Okay. So if I'm really honest with myself and I can say what's weighing on me, how I really feel is. Next one is what I most fear about getting what I want is the risk or exposure of getting what I want is. Do I identify with and feel somewhat familiar and comfortable with where I am right now? And am I willing to give it up to get what I want? Do I identify with and would I feel comfortable and familiar with my success and my goal and my result if I got it? Would I know how to be in that successful result. The payback I get from staying stuck is that I get to have or to avoid something. Okay, so those are the prompt questions. Next thing. If you are prompted well, so for example, if I'm doing digging work with you, which is the way that we just call it digging because it's just digging below the surface of your conscious. If we do digging work, then you will actually, when prompted, you will say out loud your blind spot and you won't even realize it's your blind spot. I've seen it happen lots of times, one-on-one and in groups. A little bit of digging, 2, 3, 4 minutes, and the blind spot comes out vocalized. And the person just carries on like nothing happened. And it's like, hold up, back up the train. You literally just said it. It's also likely to be coming out in your journaling if you really let your emotions out and you really express what's deeply going on inside of you. Those primitive, primal, very emotive, deep beliefs, fears, it's probably going to come out in your journaling, right? The next thing you can do is you get an objective witness. So that is a coach, a therapist, a trusted friend or family member. But the trick with this is this. They have to be equipped, right? They have to be equipped. Don't go to people who are not equipped or you'll get in a confuddling conundrum because they won't know and then you'll get confused and are confused and it's just a big hot mess. Okay, so you need to get people who are equipped and who are objective. Okay, the next thing is just take a really quick look at your foundational beliefs about yourself and life. Because if you've got a blind spot and something's not going well in your life and you're stuck, chances are possibly that one or more of your foundational beliefs that you need for thriving are a bit off. Okay, and it's fine if they are, because it's like every single person I've ever worked with, and me included, we all had to go through this and resolve these things. So these kind of foundational programming beliefs are: I'm safe, I belong, I am enough, I'm good enough, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I'm whole, I'm complete, I'm valued and valuable, I'm lovable, I'm acceptable, I'm supported, and I'm connected. Okay, if we don't feel safe and we don't feel these things about ourselves, then of course something's off. And then we spend our life trying to cope with that. And then we try to deal with life from skewed thoughts, feelings, and actions. And we get weird, skewed results. Right? So you want to make this shift at the foundational level. And then finally, when you find your blind spots, you need to resolve them. Now, seeing them is extremely powerful and it can take the bite out of them. It takes the bite out of them significantly because they're no longer a mystery. But you also have to say, okay, I see where this has come from and I see what it's doing inside of me. And now I need to bring my subconscious, conscious, my body, my nervous system, my emotional state, I need it to catch up with me. I need it to come to the truth that I now know. And you can't spiritualize your way out of your body and your nervous system and your programming. You have to use methodical, psycho-spiritual approaches and techniques that you know will work for your mind and work for your nervous system and all the good jazz, okay? So we also do that in coaching. We also do that in Soul Odyssey Group Mentorship if you want help with that. So I hope this has been helpful and that you take this away and you use the prompts that I've given you. The 2 ways that I can help you, or there's probably 3 ways. First of all, is I'd recommend that you go to bernadettelogue.com/masterclass. And there is a 2-hour class with me there, which will help you to understand all of this a little more deeply. That's bernadettelogue.com/masterclass. The second thing is that you can, depending on when you're listening to this episode, you can sign up for the wait list for the Soul Odyssey Group Mentorship. We're going to be opening that in the last week of September for 7 days for enrollments. So you can get on the wait list and be first to be notified when the doors open for that. But also the people that are signed up to my list are also going to receive an invitation to a free soul alignment workshop, which we're doing in September. The exact dates to be announced, but it's likely to be the week of the 16th. We're still finalizing everything. So that free workshop is going to be amazing. It's brand new, and that is actually going to help you even more deeply understand all of this, because what blind spots are is not you and your soul. It is something that's out of alignment, and soul alignment is about healing all our inner limitations to come into our authentic, free-flowing, clear channel self to bring through divine life force energy and all our soulful gifts and wisdom so we can play with life and create the magical life that we really want. So go grab the masterclass, go sign up to the waitlist, which is bernadettelogue.com/waitlist, bernadettelogue.com/waitlist. And if you're on the waitlist, I will send you the free workshop, and also you'll be the first to know when the doors open to the group mentorship. And then lastly, if you're interested in coaching, it's going to depend on availability, but I open up new spaces every month for one-on-one coaching, a few people each month. So you can email me at the time of listening this to support@bernadettelogue.com, support@bernadettelogue.com, subject line blind spot. And I will know that you've come from listening to this, and I will know what it is that you're needing help with. And I can then send you back all the details for how private coaching works, what the availability is, all the details, so you can see if it's an aligned and good fit for you. So beautiful, lovely soul. Thank you for sticking with me to the end of this episode. I send love to you wherever you are in the world. I look forward to working with you if you're going to be joining me for any one of these pathways. And until next time, take good care of yourself. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Practical Spirituality with B. I'll talk to you next episode for more spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic.